This is the last lesson of the section. I hope you had an opportunity to try coding this JavaScript accordion yourself. I've stripped away some of the excess code and just brought it back down to the bare bones functionality so that this way, if you wanted to, you could take this code and repurpose it and reuse it within your own projects. We're going to do a quick run through of what's important here within the code as we built out this project. So the most important part is for the body to display none, and that's the default state. So we have a default state where the body is none. If you actually want one of these panels to be open by default, so whenever the page loads you want it to be open, you can always add the active class and this will still function. Whenever you click any of the other ones, it will still close that one because this one has an active class. So that's another option as well if you want to have it as one of them as an opened state. And this was where the important class was, that we're using JavaScript in order to add and remove the active class. And the rest of the styling was just to distinguish between the head and the body content. And of course, you can apply your own styling as needed. Now you can add in any number of panels, as many as you want, as long as they're contained within the main div, because that's where we're applying the styling to. You could remove out main and just look for active and a body and head and a body. So you can do that as well if you want to be a little bit more flexible. But generally I like to keep it as a class of main, or you could give it a class of accordion and rename it so that you can reuse it within your projects. And none of the classes should overlap with any of the existing classes you have in your project. So just keep that in mind. And then within the panel, we have a head, we have a body. So make sure the structure is the same for each one. And you can just simply copy and paste and add as many panels as you want. And when you reload the page, they're all going to be working. We use JavaScript, query selector all. So selected all of the elements on the page of the class of panel, put into an object called accordion. Then we looped through the accordion object and selected all of the elements that were available. So this was actually returning back a node list that had a length that we could loop through. And simply as we select each one of the elements available within the node list, we're adding an event listener, and the event listener was listing for toggle L. And that's where we were applying it, the function. So each time one of these elements gets clicked, we were adding in where we're toggling the class of active. So that allowed us to close and open. Now there is an issue that if you want to close the panel again by clicking it, you're not able to do that. And the reason is that we're looping through all the elements and we're moving active and we're toggling active on that one. So that's why it stays open. And you can see this when you inspect the element and look at what classes are being applied to the panel. We see we've got active there, now active applied there, and active is applied there. So when we go to toggle, active is already gone and it's already been removed, and that's why we've got that issue where we're not able to pick it up. But there is a solution for this, and I'm just going to do a quick run through of how we can solve this problem. So we can select the element target parent, and you might want to use this one as well. So this is selecting the element target parent, because when we pick up the event target, we're either getting the head or the body. We're not getting the parent. So each one of them will have the same parent when we look at the structure, and this will allow us to select panel. So that would be getting the parent, and I'll clear the console and just show you that this case, now we're getting the active panel, and we see that the active class is being applied there. And that's the one that we want to look for. So as we're looping through all of the elements, we can have a condition that checks to see if the element that we're on is equal to the same one as the parent. And if it is, then we can apply a condition, and we can also have an else statement. And the condition is that if it's the active one, we're going to toggle, and if it's not the active one, then we're just going to remove active. And really it shouldn't have active, but this is just to be sure and just to be safe. So when we do it this way, we need to also update this, because this is no longer relevant because it's within this scope now, and we've moved it out of the main scope. So it's not going to be able to identify what this is. And this is where we can use ELE, or we could use the element target parent, because it's going to look to the parent scope to figure out what the value of the existing element event object target is. So let's save that and refresh. And now you can see when we click them, they actually close, the opened ones. And that's because it's picking up and it's looping through and it's checking to see if the element is the same one that we've got open. And that's a way to apply that type of fix. So you may need that, you may not want that, and you can really customize this as needed. If you have any questions or comments, I'm always happy to help clarify any of the content that's been presented. And I do encourage you to try it out, experiment a little bit, and get the accordion working the way you want it to work. And also apply some styling and make it look really nice. Thanks again for taking the course, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.